Hi, everyone. My name is Matt Haynes. I'm an audiobook narrator,
And I'm Trenton Bennett, and I'm also an audiobook narrator.
and we're here just talking about things that are going on for us in our process that authors might be particularly interested in, given that audiobooks are booming and you're probably at least considering taking your work into the audiobook platform, or perhaps you already have and you're looking for additional tips. So Trenton has selected the theme for this week. Trenton, take it away.
You betcha. I was having a conversation with an author recently, and I came up with a good way to describe this, which is something we want to help people understand. Whenever we narrate a book, we're going to make creative choices that might not perfectly line up. And here's the example. When you see an actor on television portraying that they are an actor, a lot of times you see them running through their lines and they'll go, "It's what I do. It's what I do. It's what I do." And they're just doing variations. The thing about it is when you write that book, you have all of that in your head and you think it's what I do, and it's exactly that way. But if you hand that book to someone who's a huge fan of your writing and say, "Read this scene that you said you love," they might say, "It's what I do." And that's okay. It doesn't mean that your writing is off. It doesn't mean that the reader is off. We all do that because we all have our own interpretations, but it doesn't fundamentally change things. And so the same is true when we narrate. Sometimes, especially with text written on a page can hit differently than words spoken aloud. And so sometimes when we make our creative choices, "It's what I do" might have a reason that it's done that way.
You know, what occurs to me is Miles Davis said that if you're playing and there's a bum note, it's a bum note, unless you start playing it exactly the same way throughout the song and developing it, at which point it becomes a riff in jazz.
I love it.
Which is not to say that the narrator is even making a mistake, but authors, as you listen and you feel like you detect a bum note in terms of how the narrator is doing your work, see where that character goes, even though it might not have the voice that you are particularly thinking of or wanting. And also, if you hear a sentence that has a different kind of nuance than what you had originally imagined, likewise, see how the story progresses and if that sentence really did drag things away from what you intended. I'll bet you anything that because you designed the railroad track, it doesn't matter what kind of choo-choo goes on it because the choo-choo is still going to go in the direction that you've outlined. Also, I just want to point out from
It's a good
a geek
analogy.
stand. Thank you, thank you. I want to point out from a geek mentality, Watchmen. So Alan Moore's Watchmen, the comic book. Oh no, I'm sorry, the graphic novel. The
I won't
graphic.
tell Alan you said that.
Yeah, don't tell him.
He's
Don't
not on
tell
the
him.
internet.
He's a magician, and so I don't want bad karma with him. Um, but Dr. Manhattan, the character, giant blue Adonis. Whenever I read that book, my thought was, if he was saying I'm disappointed, very disappointed, it'd be I'm disappointed, very disappointed. Well, in the movie, which I really, really like, uh, in the movie, they got Billy Crudup playing Dr. Manhattan. Now, Billy Crudup is actually quite a virtuoso with voices, but his home voice, which they used, is more, I'm disappointed, very disappointed. Sort of like, it sounds like a cross between HAL 9000 and Fred Rogers.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
this is sort of like, that's Dr. Manhattan? Wait, I object. And it's like, nope, the movie keeps going. And by golly, he is the perfect Dr. Manhattan for the vision that Zack Snyder had for the movie, which followed very closely to the book, but had its own flavor.
Yep.
So that's um, you know, folks, if you hear something that's a little bit different than what you imagined from your narrator, well, guess what? That's what we do.
Yes. Exactly. Full circle, Matt. Good job.
Well, folks, I'm Matt Haynes,
And I'm Trenton Bennett.
and as your narrators and ambassadors into the world of narration, I hope that our voices and your ears meet again real soon.
Thanks, Matt. Thanks, everybody.